Hello guys, this is Nix, your local bunny boy here, and welcome back to my channel. And of course, this being June, happy Pride Month. Now of course in my country, we celebrate Pride Month on a different month. It's October because it's South Africa, and also we have different Pride marchers throughout the year, basically March and July, yeah. For some reason June is just not included. We just skip June for some reason in our country. But anyway, basically this video I'm taking the characters I redesigned a long time ago, basically a rainbow redraw series where I was redrawing rainbow themed character. Now I'm basically expanding on their designs. But anyway, that's enough of me talking. Let's get into the art of it all. Now, first and foremost, there is red. Now, funny enough, when I did this series originally, for some reason I went top up when it comes to like the rainbow. I went from purple to red, not from red to purple. But also another thing that I also did was that I added a pink. Now, doing this in order of the rainbow and actually sticking to the number of colors that the rainbow has, which is basically 6. It is 6, yeah, it is 6. So 3 videos this month coming. But yeah, it is 6. I decided to omit pink, but who knows, I might decide to add it in. I don't know, I'd have to think about it, but maybe I could just add it in and post it in July, because okay, that's another month that my country celebrates, not as Pride Month, but there's a Pride March during that time, at least like in the city that I live in. So maybe I could post it then and talk about it a little bit more then. Who knows, I might, who knows. But anyway, to get into like the concept and idea of like what these characters are and stuff like that, obviously each character represents a different rainbow color, and my idea of is that all these characters are like best friends who go to the same school or college, and like there's a pride event at nighttime at their school or something, so they've all decided, instead of just wearing full rainbows, they've all decided to come as each color of the rainbow. Now obviously I feel like I should also make a group of friends that come as different colors of like the trans flag and other flags. I might actually do that next year. That's actually a good idea, to have different groups of friends come as different colors. Maybe they're all like in one single class and they've all just kind of coordinated themselves that way. That's actually a cool idea. Like light blue, light pink, white, I guess. White is also a color in the trans flag, and then also non-binary flags, all that stuff. That would actually be a cool idea to do next year as well. I'm actually probably gonna write that down. But yeah, basically, and I've also had it to where like the backgrounds are pretty similar, of course, because they're in the same scenario, but I've also had them be like, oh, let's take a photo when these lights flash the color that we're wearing. So when the lights are flashing red, the girl who's wearing red goes up. When the lights are flashing orange, the girl who's wearing orange goes up. Now obviously in this video we're going to be tackling red and orange, the red and orange girlies. And let me say, I went back to my why did I say Huion? My XP pen, like my graphics drawing tablet for this one. I didn't want to do this on Procreate, mainly because I've been getting sick and tired of like the tedious monotony of using Procreate. I'm the type of person who gets sick of doing the same things over and over again. That's why I find it hard to keep consistency sometimes, because like I get so annoyed when I keep doing the same thing over and over again. I mean, what did they say about insanity? Doing the same shit over and over again. So I gotta break it up with something else. I gotta do something different, you know what I mean? Even with videos, I gotta do something different so I don't go fucking crazy when it comes to editing and stuff like that. Which is why I enjoy editing for 2 channels, is because the editing styles for each one is different. So if I'm sick of editing a certain way, I can go to the other channel and edit the other way that I've been editing. I don't know, it's a good way to break up the monotony, but also still keep like the drive and passion going for wanting to edit and all that stuff. Now for this illustration, as I said, I'm basically like fleshing out like the character designs of like the basically portrait shots that I did beforehand. Like beforehand it was just portraits and that's it. So for this one, it's like full body. It's not full body, it's like quarter body, because who cares about their feet anyway? Who likes feet in this world? I mean, I guess a lot of people like feet, but like I don't like drawing feet. I like drawing either half bodies or like portraits, basically half bodies or portraits, because like I don't know, drawing a full body can get tedious sometimes. It can be fun, but sometimes it's like damn, especially because like when you do a full body, that means like there's less details in the face, there's less details overall in the art piece, like on the character there's less details because it's taking up more space, so it has to be shrunken so you can see every part of the character. So I don't know, I just love drawing the face the most, so obviously having to shrink my character that much to where you can barely see that aspect of them But also the funny thing is that when you look at my like profiles and stuff like that, it's not that long ago when I actually drew these characters. It wasn't that long ago. I don't remember when I drew them, but I also said in those videos that why did I draw them this early? Why didn't I just save them for Pride Month? Because they're rainbow themed characters. I don't I asked myself that question, but now I guess I could just do a different series, I guess, different version of this, whatever you want to call it. But maybe I can have a full-blown series again. Every year it could be a different pride flag. Who knows? Who knows? I'll see. Or maybe in October I'll do a different pride flag and then have to do it every June and October because, you know, that's how most of the world celebrates in June. Well, not most of the world, but a good percentage of the world celebrates in June. My country specifically, we celebrate in October. So I feel like having it on those both months is a good idea. You know what I mean? I feel like that's a good way to balance things out because at the end of the day, I want to celebrate my country's Pride Month as well because that's also important. Because it also ties into more than just it being Pride Month. It also ties into the apartheid. Why am I pronouncing the R so robustly? The apartheid era that we existed in. I believe it was like pre-1990 something. Either way, it was like both those things, like the first ever like Pride March was in October. It was both against the apartheid, basically segregation in my country, but both against like anti-gay stuff and stuff like that. I'm not a history buff, but I do know a good bit about apartheid because we did learn that stuff in history and stuff like that. But yeah, tough times. I'm not gonna go too much into it. Obviously you could read about it if you want. It's very interesting. History is a very interesting thing though, I'm not gonna lie. I do like a little bit of history, I do, but I'm not a history buff though. Don't expect me to get facts right. I'm just babbling. I'm just a babbler. I'm just a yapper. I'm just, you know, sometimes I'll spit out facts like I know something, but I really don't. I just know the bare minimum, which is another thing I mentioned in another video. I guess that's why I want to get into like learning a little bit more, because I've actually been buying my old textbooks from high school because for some reason I lost them. I don't know if I ranted about this in a previous video, but I don't think I actually lost them. I think somebody actually stole them, which is kind of sad to think about who that person is, because I probably know who stole them, because you can like resell them. Like you are allowed to sell them to high schoolers and stuff like that. Sometimes you can go to schools and sell them to schools and then they'll sell them to students and stuff like that. But like, yeah, they all disappeared. Like a specific set of textbooks all disappeared. Like they're ones that I specifically bought for different courses at school because they're not like government issues textbooks. They're ones that you have to buy if you're taking a specific class, like science classes, math class even. So like all of those textbooks are like gone. Like all those specific textbooks have disappeared, but all of my other normal books, like high school books that I probably kept for whatever reason, I don't know why I kept them, are still fine and are still around. Like they were kept in the same area, but they're there. So I probably didn't fucking lose them. I didn't lose them. Somebody stole them, and I probably know who the fuck it is, but I don't want to think about it too much. So I basically rebought most of them during like the back to school sale in January, because there's a lot of sales during that time, girl. I swear to God, it is the hardest to get those books during that time. But I feel like that's enough of my yapping. Here's me adding the final special effects of this drawing and stuff like that. And I really enjoyed how this one turned out. I love the red of it all, but it's still like a blue background so the character can stand out the most. And that was the red girl. Now I feel like the way I describe her personality, despite the way she looks, is definitely more of like a calm character. Yeah, she wears bright red, but the way I draw her, she seems like a very chill girl. I feel like she's not the type of person to actually get angry, even though she looks fiery. You know what I mean? Red means fire. But I feel like she's a sweetheart. I feel like she's the sweetheart of the group. There are a bunch of sweethearts of the group. My God, I'm starting. But I feel like she's one of them. But I also don't know what name to give them. Right now, they're just called the red girl, orange girl, whatever, so on and so forth. So please feel free to give them names down in the comments. And whichever ones I like the most will be showcased in the next video, and also in a bunch of community posts I make about these characters as well. So yeah, let's get into the next art piece. And now here's the orange girl. And I feel like this one's actually my favorite illustration because of the way that I drew the body. Like, I have this issue where like I'll put a lot of effort into the anatomy of like the characters in the body and stuff like that, and it'll be like fully covered up by the end of it. So it's like, what was the point? But I guess it's also like to keep in practice, so like you know what anatomy looks like and feels like and stuff like that. But also try to make her body a very much like I almost said apricot, not apricot, a pear-shaped body type. You know what I mean? Slim at the top and curvy at the not the bottom, but like around her hips area. So I really like the idea of like making her like a pear-shaped body type. I don't usually tend to try and go towards specific body types whenever I draw characters, but for her specifically, I kind of felt that energy and I wanted to do that. But another thing about her, like, I feel like she's like the sassy one in the group. Like, I don't know, she gives very much not club girl, but very much beach party club girl, like beach vibes, like very much beachy, clubby, scene environment type shit. Like, she makes me think of like, I don't know if you've ever heard this around the internet, but like, you know the Fire Festival is basically a festival that was supposed to go on in the middle of a fucking desert. I feel like she would attend a festival in the middle of a fucking desert. She would definitely go to a desert festival. I don't know much about the Fire Festival. All I heard that it was a shit show, but she would still attend. Just for the shits and the gags. She would attend. She would definitely attend. And another thing that I had issue with one thing that I did have issue with when it came to this drawing was like how to portray the lights in the background as orange, because I feel like that's gonna very much contradict with the yellow one, because I have to make this look like orange, but the yellow one is gonna be very hard to make it look like yellow. But I guess with a couple of overlay layers, I can achieve that as much as I want to, because I do use a couple of like overlay layers of like reds or orange on top of like the background to make it look like it's emanating that color because of like the fairy lights and all that stuff. Now, the idea of making fucking like 6 drawings this month just kind of throws me off, because it's like that's a lot of illustrations in 1 month. I mean, I've achieved that before with other like challenges that I put myself through, so it's not like it's impossible for me to do that. I have achieved that, but it's always like a hard sell for my brain to like comprehend, even though it generally doesn't actually take me that long to actually finish an illustration. It usually takes me about 13 to 16 hours to finish an illustration. So like technically it should take me at least like 1 day to finish 1 illustrations, but obviously there's other things within that day that go on. Most of it tends to be procrastination, or I'm actually doing another project on the side, so I'm kind of trying to balance different projects alongside ones that I'm already working on, because I want to be like pre-prepared for different things and different occasions, because I don't want to like not I almost said cuckold you guys, but I guess it is cuckold you guys. I don't want to like fucking plan a whole thing to post and stuff like that, but also when it comes down to actually having to post it, I'm like, oh shit, I don't have time, I can't post this, I don't want to do that. I'm sick and tired of like missing deadlines that I set for myself. I don't give you guys what deadlines I have, because I feel like that's too much pressure, but I also give myself deadlines because it's enough pressure to where I get into gear and finish this shit. Like when it came to this illustration specifically, I obviously have everything scheduled out in a way where like I have to finish this at a certain time so I can start editing and do all this other stuff. So I was literally at like the rendering stage of this specific illustration, like the orange girl. I was at like the rendering stage and I was like, I don't want to render this, I'm tired, I'm really exhausted. But then I kept telling myself, you are almost done. It takes you less than fucking 2 hours to render something, which is true. Like depending on how like complex the illustration is in the background, it takes me no less than 2 hours to render a character. It does not take me long. So I literally had to sit there and be like, you know, it does not take you that long, and you know, once you get in bed, you're probably gonna watch a video before you fall asleep, or fall asleep while watching a video, one or the other two. So you know damn well that you have 2 hours to spare here, and then once you're done, go to sleep. Like that's what I told myself, you know what I mean? So I ended up just fucking pushing myself and pushing myself, and then bada bing bada boom, I finished it under 2 hours, like I said I would. And I didn't even rush it. I was doing it the way that I would normally like fucking render, keeping up with pace with how I render. So I wasn't rushing myself in any way, shape, or form. I was just like, literally, you know, you can finish this in 2 hours. It's like getting in your own head about how long it takes you to do something, when in reality it's not that long for you to actually do that thing. So you tend to avoid it, being like, oh, I'm gonna be wasting time, oh, I don't have time, oh, I want to sleep, oh, I'm tired, it's gonna take too long to do this thing, when in reality it generally doesn't actually take you that long to do something. That's why I say it's important to actually time how long it takes you to do certain things, so that you get a better concept of how actually long it takes you to do certain things. That way you can either not subvert, but you can either like defeat the idea that it takes you too long to do something, or substantiate the idea that it does take you a lot of time to do something, so you can better plan for that activity. Like if you know that drawing generally takes you like fucking 3 days, like genuinely 3 days fully, like in terms of the hour amount, then obviously you know how to plan for those artworks and those pieces. But for me, if I know it takes me fucking 16 hours, I know I have to spend at least 2 to 3 hours every day. Not 2 to 3, sometimes it's 5 hours, 4 to 5, 3 to 5 hours every day on this art piece, because I know by the end of like, I'm not good at calculations, so forgive me, by the end of like the 50, obviously, like how many hours would that be? 5, that's 10, another 5, that's 15. So by like the third cycle of 5 hours, like the last group of 5 hours, I'm probably gonna be done with the illustration by then, honestly. So yeah, I feel like it's about pushing yourself past your limits in a sense, and pushing yourself past what your preconceived limits are, like what you think your limits are. It's always a good thing to push yourself against those limits, because I'm the type of person, when I get mentally exhausted, I usually just submit to those mental exhaustions and give up. But I feel like I should start to push that feeling a little bit more. Obviously not in an unhealthy way, to the point where I'm actually like fucking burning myself out, because I am good at avoiding burnout. I'm good at like avoiding getting mentally, physically, and artistically burned out, maybe because I procrastinate a lot, but I'm actually very good at like avoiding burnout. I don't think I've experienced burnout in a while. Obviously I said this before, that I have like depressive episodes, but those aren't burnout, because I'm still like creative in a sense. I still want to draw, I still have the urge to make art, but it's mainly suffocated by the feeling of like, you know, depression and stuff like that. So it's kind of like two battles at once. I'm not really burnt out, I'm just overwhelmed. I feel like that's a different thing. I feel like being burnt out is like not knowing what to do, not having any ideas, and not knowing where to go with your art. Whereas being overwhelmed is like having a lot of things to do and a lot of art to make, and having a lot of tasks to fulfill and stuff like that. So it's a different feeling for me, at least I think. Like I don't think I've actually been burned out once in my life, and I really hated the feeling of it. So I've strived ever since that day to never burn myself out creatively. Like I've strived to never ever get myself to that point ever again. So yeah, I'm very good at like avoiding burnout and stuff like that. But like I said, with this illustration, I made like the final push to kind of just fucking complete it and prove to myself that, hey, you're not slow, you can do this, you can finish this in a good amount of time, with a good amount of pacing, without rushing it, you can do this. And I ended up proving myself right. I ended up not proving myself right, proving myself wrong on the idea that it would take too long, and that I wasn't fast enough, or that I couldn't do it in a good amount of time. I ended up proving myself wrong, and I ended up doing it. I ended up finishing it within the time limit, within like the deadline that I set to complete this specific artwork, because I have a bunch of shit to do, I have a bunch of art to make, I gotta finish this. And that was the orange girl. Now, like I said with the red one, feel free to give them names down in the comments. And the ones that I like the most will definitely be in the next video, or in a community post. In a community post that I'll post about these characters. But yeah, that's pretty much the first video in this 3-parter, basically. Again, I don't know what's gonna happen to the pink one. You guys can comment below whether you want to see the pink one. Here's her design as like a frame of reference of what she looks like, and whether or not you would actually want me to do a full-blown like outfit design for her. So please, again, comment. You guys' interaction actually benefits me a lot, because it tells me what you want and what you don't. I very much like base a lot of the decisions I make on your guys' wants and needs, honestly. Not everything, obviously. I still do what I want, but I still also want to cater to you guys as well, because I feel like you like the same things as me. So catering to you is also catering to me. It's a win-win situation. It's very much a win-win situation. So feel free to tell me what you would like for the pink girl as well. But anyway, Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and do all those fun YouTube things. I have a Blue Sky, I have Instagram, I have all these socials you can check out. I mostly post on Blue Sky, but I'm getting back into Instagram. I'm getting back there. So yeah, feel free to check those out, and I'll see you in the next video.